Hello and welcome to Wales, where we paint away the stress of everyday life. I'm going to be looking down at my tabletop easel this morning. Okay, so we've got a small amount of alizarin crimson just for there. Don't worry about that because that's only a very small part of the painting. We've got a bit of Mars black. We've got some titanium white, some ultramarine blue, some yellow ochre, some raw sienna and some burnt umber. And as you can see as I pull back, there's my little tabletop easel there with a little bit of cardboard. This is a 10 by 12 piece of cardboard. So we're going to be filming downwards today. I've got a dog walker called Shan, and she takes Molly for a walk once a week, every Monday morning. And she goes into our local forestry. And I thought it would be nice if I dedicated this painting to Shan and just to say thank you from myself and from Molly for looking after her and taking her for walks. And she looks after Molly when we go away on holiday to abroad as well. So yeah, as you know, Molly has been with me now for about 6 years, and she's a little Jack Russell, and yeah, she's fun and full of beans. So what I'm doing is I'm just sketching out. There's a little bit of light going to come through there. There's a little bit of sky going to be showing through some trees. So all this is going to be trees here, and we've got a bit of a forestry walk there. And what I thought I'd do is maybe put Shan walking Molly, say, in this position like that. So we'll just put a few little lines in just for now, just to get us started. And maybe Molly could be there, or another little dog could be there, something like that. She could be walking Molly like that. See, that's all you need to do sometimes, is to give yourself a little bit of a guide. So I'm just going to be picking up, and let me have a look. I've got just a short flat. It's a 1/2 inch short flat. I tell you what I didn't do this morning is I didn't put my medium mix out onto my palette. So we need to put some of that out now. I'm just mixing a bit of burnt umber and a bit of black together there, because we need a bit of this ready for some dark shadow colours. Okay, just washing my brush. I'm also going to get a little bit of white onto my brush and the smallest amount of blue just on the edge like that. There you go, smallest amount of blue on the edge of my brush. I'm just going to tap that in just like this. I want it quite bright in there. Now, we can find that a lot of the paints, the acrylic paints, are what they call translucent. So it's important that you do yourself some sort of a test to find out which are opaque, which means you can't see through them. So if there's a black line there and I put a stroke of paint across like that, you could see the line through it if it was transparent, and you wouldn't see the line through it if it was opaque. It's as simple as that, really. So in other words, it's the difference between a piece of paper and a piece of tracing paper. You can see through tracing paper, but you can't see through paper. So that's the difference between opaque and transparent, just in case you don't know. And I have had questions from people saying, well, what's the difference? Well, that's the difference. So I have got a lesson there which will explain that for you. So I'm just taking a little bit of time this morning. I'm just enjoying myself this morning, because as I said, it's lovely and cool here in the studio, because it gets quite hot in the daytime because I've got a black felted roof on the studio. So I'm mixing a bit of raw sienna and yellow ochre together. I'm just going to bring in this lumpy paint. Why is that gone lumpy? I don't know. It doesn't matter. I don't mind these things. So I'm going to just get a bit of this lumpy paint. I'm just going to bring a bit of that in, because this is the forestry path. Get a bit of burnt umber, because we just want to darken an area up there. Now raw sienna is one of the colours that is transparent, and there's many ways to get around transparency of paint, and I'll be making a video on that as well. So I'll be answering these questions on a Friday for you, and it's a lot easier to do that because it's easier for me to explain verbally than try and text an answer, because that way you'll understand it a lot more. And if I've got videos then as well, then I can use to relate the answer through video, then I will be doing that. And I think that's a wonderful way to bring your questions to life in the form of a media rather than a text, because I'm not very good at texting, and it's not one of my best things, to be quite honest. Okay, so I'm going to get the hairdryer on that, and I'm just going to dry that, I think. Okay, so after drying that with the hairdryer, you can see it's quite nice. Always test the surface that you're painting on with the back of your hand. Never press your fingertips like that, because there's little grease spots in there, and there's none on the back of you. Now I got a little fan brush there, which is I've chopped and chased with a pair of scissors, and I've got this into the shape that I'd like. You don't have to use a fan brush. You can use a little foliage brush if you've got one. But I thought I would use a fan brush today just for a change. So I'm going to go into some of that dark mixture. And what I thought I would do is I just want to very gently put in a few feathery marks just around the edge, like as if those trees are just breaking through there like this. Very delicate. There you go. Easy, isn't it? Easy when you know how. Just knowing how is the thing sometimes. There we go. Just looks like all of a sudden it's just, you can see the trees, and there's nothing else except blue and a little bit of that dark colour. How wonderful is that? How wonderful is that? So I'm just going to put that brush just one side for a second, and I'm going to pick up a slightly bigger brush. This is a small foliage brush. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to so much make a green, though I'm going to make some like an autumn colour. So I'm going to add a little bit of burnt umber, a little bit of raw sienna, and I'm going to mix a little bit of yellow ochre to that. So get these colours mixed together. I'm tapping the brush into the paint like that. Tapping the brush into the paint. And what I'm going to do, you might not be able to see all of this, but I'm just going to put in some of that colour. And I'm just tapping it in like this. It's just a little difference. You should just about see there's a little difference there in colour. Don't go all over the black, because we've worked hard putting this black in. That's important. Leave some of those gaps. Leave some gaps there. Leave some gaps like that. Build up some shapes. If you've gone along to a walk where you've been, and take some photographs and just build up a lovely walk like this. And don't rush The most important thing to do when you're painting like this really is to just enjoy the process and not rush too much, because life's too short really to rush around, isn't it? Let's be honest. And when you're painting like this, you want to relax. You don't want to rush things. There we are, like that. And what we can do is pull down like this time. Let's pull down like that. It's just getting a bit of colour in. Simple brush strokes. Simple brush strokes, that's all it is. And before we know it, we develop in this wonderful warm looking countryside scene that we'll find. And you can use this principle in any landscape really, because all we're doing basically is building up tones of colour. And as I said, don't try and kill that darkness. And what you've got to remember with acrylics is that acrylics will always dry darker than what you think they're going to dry. So when they're wet, they're going to look a lot different to when they dry. As you can see, the colour when it's wet is quite light, but as it dries, it darkens really well. It darkens about 2 shades. So if you wanted a lighter colour, always go a little bit lighter if you wanted to. So if I went, I'd just show you the difference. If I just went like that, I'm just going to put that in place now at the moment. And I want to let that dry, because I'm going to shoot off and get myself a cup of coffee. And I want to let that dry. And I want you to see the difference, how that dries when it's, how the colour changes, I should say, when it's dry. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to let that dry. I'm going to shoot off and get myself a nice cup of coffee, because I feel like one. Hopefully now you should be able to see that has gone a lot darker than what it was originally when I painted it, and you can see how that dark greeny browny colour that I put in there has subdued into a shade that's at least 2 tones darker, in fact. Anyway, I've got my wonderful cup of coffee here, as you can see. So I'm ready to start painting. So I'm grabbing a little bit of kitchen roll at the moment. Now I'm looking at this painting and I'm thinking maybe I need to just darken that section up there a little bit. So I'm going back into my original 1/2 inch short flat. Just using a little bit of that dark green colour that we've just mixed, just maybe get a few shadowy effects in like this. Just a very, very light, very light dusting of paint really there like that. And getting a bit of that raw sienna. Raw sienna, as you know, as I said, is transparent. You can see that if I put that over that dark colour, you'll see it come through it. And that's what I like about raw sienna, is that you can build up the transparency with layers of paint. So 2 or 3 layers of this, then you should find that it'll get more opaque than the more layers you put on. That's a little tip for a transparent paint. Or you could actually put a little bit of white down and then paint this over white, and then continue to put your transparent paints over that. I'll show all that in another lesson. I won't go too much into that. So what I'm doing is just building up a little bit of burnt umber, a little bit of raw sienna, just getting some darkness into this pathway like this, some shadows and things, and we're putting in the darks now and the shadows, and we can do a little bit more to that later on, but for now I just want to get some shadow into this area like that, because this is going to be a nice light shining type of summery, spring-like, whatever type of painting. There we are. So I'm quite happy with that, and I'll let that dry naturally. Now, what I think I should do now is go back into our little foliage brush. Do you remember the one we put the green in with now? So forgetting this section here, this is going to be the mid-ground area, but that is the background. So we want to brighten that up again now. So let's get into some raw sienna and some yellow ochre, a little bit of burnt umber. I'm going to do about 3 layers hopefully with this. So we just want to just bring a bit of brightness in. Same type of thing now, thinking about where these trees and things will lie, like this. And then again, try not to destroy the black and try not to destroy the other bit. We need to think bushes, not so much trees. This is not so much about trees. This, a mass of trees becomes a bush if you think about it, because you can't define one tree from another. So these are just bushes and trees and all those other things that you'll find. I want to lighten off a little bit there. I want that like dark in there and a bit lighter going on the outside. And don't forget we got some sun coming through. That's the thing, we got some sun coming through there like this. And again, let's get these little bits of bushes and things there. Keep loading up the paint. Don't forget to keep some dark areas in place. We got another layer to go on top of this after, so don't worry too much. What we're doing is just trying to build up some sort of a form of these shapes. There's so many leaves and things in one area that sometimes they just look like a mass of colour. Dragging down again, as I said. Dragging down again. Don't forget we got to put another tree in there in a second. Okay, again, I'm just going to have a little look back. I'm taking a little suppy paint of suppy of paint. No, suppy of coffee. Do you remember this? Do you remember this little fan brush? Okay, so let's get a little bit of white now. Let's get a little bit of white and into this yellow ochre. And then put a few of these little tiny flecks in like this. Tippy. Tippy, tippy, tippy. I'll tell you what we'll do. I think it'd be a good idea if I got a bit of yellow in a minute, just to change things up a bit. Let's get some raw sienna. A bit of white into that. See how that's darkening already? See how that's darkening already? Let's just get a little bit more brightness in there. Just dragging down, like as I said, like that. You can see the warmth of the path now, and those yellowy ochre type of colours. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull in a little bit of light onto this path now. Very dry. My brush is very dry. There's very little paint on my brush now. Just basically a stain, if you think about it. Just bring a little bit of lightness, just tapping a little bit of paint, getting the brush dryish. I want to get a bit of that darker colour. In there like that. There you go. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I've got some yellow. We need some yellow. Might knock my camera now because I'm stretching over to get some yellow. I got some cadmium yellow. I should have put this out on the palette earlier, but I forgot. Nice yellow. Okay, that's good. Now, what I'm going to do is, let me have a look here. I'm going to get some cadmium yellow. I'm going to get some yellow ochre and cadmium yellow together. That's just going to brighten that yellow ochre up. You just get a bit more kitchen paper. I use this quite a lot in the studio. You can see I'm putting the paint on top of my kitchen paper like that, so I'm not overloading my brush. As long as you're quick, you've got about 10 minutes before this will start to dry on you, so we need to bring in some tree-like shapes now, like this, just to brighten up. Maybe just a touch of yellow to one side like that. Oh, a touch of white, I mean, sorry. Don't forget what I said about how it dries darker. We don't want it to dry too dark. using the brush in different ways. Just like that. A bit more of that lovely colour. Just in there like this. Bringing this painting slowly together. Warming it up. And we need a bit more white. Just to brighten up a couple of these leaves and things. To make it look as if it's just popping its head over that area there, like that. And we put a bit of this colour just down into this grass area. There we are, like as if there's grass and things just popping up. Just a mass of colour like that. Let's get a bit more white. Some plain yellow. And then again, let's balance this off. Put in a bit of glow under this one side. Just to try and bring that bright sunlight effect to the one side. Let's get a little bit of white now, just to brighten that up. And just play with the colour. There you go. A nice summery type of scene there. Bit of light coming in. Okay, you can see the effect that I'm trying to get there. What I thought I would do now is I'm going to get a little detail brush like that, and we're going to paint in Shan now. So I'm going to just paint to get a grade mixed together. So we want to put, let's put just a little type of circle like that. And let's just put, we've got to just think about a carrot. So let's put a carrot in, like that. There we go. Just get the shape that we're looking for. Easy to paint figures. All they are is carrots. Easy. If you've never painted figures before, give it a try. So let's get some, let's put the hair in. I'm just going to put a little bit of our white colour to that browny colour that we painted. Because I want to leave a light around the top of the head, like that. You'll see why in a second. So what I thought I would do is maybe get a bit of ultramarine blue and black. And put a nice dark colour in. Just like that. Could be one of these sport tops. You know, sometimes they got sleeves different colours. So let's get some red. Now you know where the red come in. And I thought red is good for a painting, so we'll give her red sleeves. Like that. Put a bit of that red just across there, which will interact with that purple. A bit of yellow and a bit of red together. It's just to touch a little bit of blue into that, because I want to darken these slacks off maybe. Get some grey. Yeah. Let's get a bit of water. A bit of black. And make sure it is black. I don't want to. Put a bit of a shadow in like that. Put a bit of shadow on the pooch. Tell you what we could do with pooch. Let's make a typical Jack Russell. Let's just put a bit of black here and that, because we want him to stand out. It doesn't have to be Molly. It could be any dog, really, couldn't it? So we'll just put a little bit of white in like that, and let's put a bit of brightness and a bit of yellow on the white. A bit of brightness around the hair. There you go. Is that dry enough? I hope that's dry enough for what I'm going to do now. I hope it is. Otherwise we could make a mess. So I'm just going to get some very, very thin paint. I'm using my medium mix for this. I'm using a bit of this yellow and this white. Very, very thin. And let's just hope this works. And just put some sun rays just coming in. Bit of sun ray coming over Sean there. Definitely coming from that sky there, like that. There we are. Early morning walk. Bit of brightness in our sky now. There we go. There you are, early morning walk with the dog here in Wales. Give it a try, see what you can come up with. Thank you very much for joining me in the studio today. Please like, comment, share and subscribe. Don't forget to click the notification bell because I upload at least 3 times a week now.
And don't forget to click subscribe.
Bye.